wanna do a podcast? We make a darn good team. It always goes without a hitch. Let's head to Twitch and go start up the stream. Do you wanna do a podcast? It's the Nerd Glasses Podcast. Let's start now. Hi everyone and welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast.
Come? Alright, I'll do my own bits myself.
Oh wait, no silence.
We're doing it.
Get off the road.
Hey Dave.
Yes.
Diablo Immortal YouTuber JT is All Business spent over $100,000 on in-game microtransactions to buff his barbarian character, and now his matchmaking rank is so high that there is now nobody that he can queue against. He can't get any matches. Now with an event that requires a regular PvP match to complete, he cannot complete the event. We here at the Nerd Glasses Podcast would like to congratulate Blizzard on the first ever pay-to-lose video game.
Bravo! Bravo!
Everything I just said was absolutely true.
That's so hurtful to think about.
Like, and like, come on, guy, why are you spending like half the value of my house on Diablo Immortal? Like, stop spending that money on a microtransaction mobile game. Yes, I know it's on PC too, but it's a mobile game.
I have so many bills coming. I'm having an existential crisis thinking about $100,000 to spend on a mobile game. Oh my god.
Welcome to the Nerd Glasses Podcast. We're adults and we hate it. I'm Boater.
I'm certainly legally called Dave Mann.
Yeah, like, I don't have much else to add there. Like, I can't feel bad for him. Okay, world's tiniest violin over here. Because, like, he did so well because of pay to win that now the matchmaking is like, I'm sorry, there's nobody in your tier.
That's gotta feel good. That's got to feel good because a lot of the Blizzard...
To a certain extent, yes, but now there's in-game events that, among other things, are like complete however many PvP matches. And when he gets into a match for PvP, he can't find... I don't mean that he waits 5 minutes and can't find anyone. His queue times are over 24 hours.
You know what? If I were that guy, I would just find my local Blizzard branch. Ours is in Albany, and I would just kick in the doors and strut in the most Ric Flair-ish outfit.
Do not
and
hassle developers.
And absolutely show up to your local Blizzard place and hassle people. Blizzard
hasn't commented on this specific instance, but they have said that they're working on matchmaking fixes. And again, do not harass developers. Don't go to the office. Don't harass them on Twitter. Don't do that.
Straight to the corporate office
to Dave.
and accept the consequences of your actions.
Don't. Write a letter. Write a tweet. Fucking drop a hot tip to Eurogamer.
Oh, yeah.
Find someone big in your circle that can signal boost you. Make it happen. Signal boosting is how someone got banned on Twitch in the last 7 days, actually.
Is it?
Yes, segue. G5 Sin was talking about he's like a mid-level streamer. He was talking about another mid-level streamer, JTX Live. This was back in June. JTX Live had criticized G5 Sin and his methods for growing an audience. A lot of this follow for follow stuff, and it specifically called out G5. G5 pulled out a gun while on stream and threatened to beat up JTX. This was back in June. There was a full month where nothing happened, no bans, whatever. JTX had reported him multiple times for that kind of behavior, the kind of thing that is, has a chilling effect of speech on the rest of the platform. Mm-hmm. And it wasn't until a large streamer caught wind of it and asked on Twitter, how does he still have a platform, that G5's account was banned, I think over the weekend. It's unknown how long the ban is for or if it's indefinite. But like, oh, you're not a big name? We really don't care. Oh, it's fine. It's entirely against our terms of service, but whatever unpaid intern is going through reports, just like, I don't want to deal with that. And it wasn't until someone like with actual clout brought it to Twitch's attention that someone in PR was like, "Oh God, we should have done something about this." So yeah, the play stupid games. Someone assumed that Twitch wouldn't come after them for that kind of behavior, and that assumption was tested at Twitch's earliest convenience. So that is someone whose day was finally ruined in the last 7 days. Dave, let's go with the opposite. In the next 7 days, how are our lives going to be improved by game releases or the like?
There's a couple that that caught my attention. There's one that I'm absolutely going to purchase, and probably going to try to foist on everyone next week here on Nerd Glasses. But we'll start with a game whose title elicited a guttural response from me, and then found out that Steve knows exactly what this franchise is and has played it and enjoys it. So today, for the Xbox One and the Series X, you can get yourself Azure Striker Gunvolt 3.
That sounds familiar. Sorry, my cable's all...
So,
go ahead and pay attention to Nerd Vision, not my unwinding here.
This game, created by the, worked on, developed, and produced by the company Inti Creates, which...
We're getting a nod of agreement.
The gentleman on the screen, for those of you that do not know him by sight, but you may recognize their name, Keiji Inafune, was a big part of this particular franchise and these games. Yes, you probably recognize that name from Mighty Number 9, but if you recognize it for anything else, you'll probably recognize him from being one of the developers of Mega Man.
All right, all right.
So this studio was responsible for the mobile Mega Man games or the like and those franchises. The first of this game, which does speak to its health, longevity, and power, it of course being an action platformer. 2014, a unassuming Azure Gunvolt was released on the 3DS. In 2016, it got a sequel, and now in 2022. It is receiving a sequel to that, making it a trilogy, as those thinkheads out there would call it. Looking interesting, looking fun. If it's your kind of style game, this definitely would do it for you. Similar play styles to Mega Man, but key difference in gameplay and action and character development.
Okay. And so who's the developer? Not the developer, the publisher?
Any Creates is the publishing as well.
Oh, okay. Okay, cool. So another thing, obviously, is that, well, I want to make more games in the style of Mega Man, whatever, that I enjoy doing, and I don't want to have to wrangle the rights from the publisher to do it and work under them. I want to do what I want to.
Yeah, a bunch of the folks. This studio
indie developed and published.
This studio was founded by a bunch of people that left Capcom to make this company, and then Capcom wound up working with them, knowing that, hey, you understand this IP, here we'd like you to work with you on these things.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
We're also looking tomorrow on Windows, PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, and the One, a game called South of the Circle. From our friends at 11-Bit Studio, whose one of their previous titles, claim to fame, was This War of Mine, for the many people that had played that. This game talking about a lot of different themes and tones that resonate with me personally, but a lot of people out there. Work-life balance, memories, relationships with people. It is one of those storytelling games where it's not necessarily an action game. You're not, doing a whole lot of influencing of the memories, but you are choosing the dialogue options and the choices of the character, which then push the story along, which creates for interesting steps, replays, things like that.
Interesting.
I'm pretty interested in it. It looks like not necessarily the most graphically wrangling game. However,
That's the graphics remind me of oh shoot, what was that one that I played where you're like kid with a camera photographing on like a tropical island? Reminds me of that. Alba, a wilderness adventure. So it reminds me a little bit of that, which is cool.
So yeah, it's coming out to all the major consoles tomorrow, and it'll be an interesting go at it. Our last game is, of course, the one that I am the most pumped about because it features one of my favorite words to say and hear. This game coming out for Windows, the PlayStation 4, and the PlayStation 5. That would be Gigabash, a kaiju brawler featuring 10 different characters that look but are legally distinctive from all of your favorite Toho IPs. The game itself boasts a verbose game modes featuring 4 different campaigns, a free-for-all game mode, 2v2s, and for those people that miss the old nostalgic games of the style and things like that, a party games mode.
Yeah.
It has little game modes you can play with your friends at home. A game that I will absolutely, depending on some repairs coming in the near future, be purchasing day one with voting with my cash and voice. This is literally lifted from the games that I like to play, so I got to feel good about this one. A studio that has released a couple other ones. I didn't look too much into the specifics of it because I was so busy watching the trailer and getting excited for later in the week. But Gigabash, Windows 4, 5. Meet me next week here as I force Boater to try to play some of the game modes. Here live, and that's the games that are coming
Heck,
out.
I thought you were going to ask me to be on Weekend Wednesday with you to play it or something.
Already have the programs booked.
All right.
But that's your Nerd Vision presentation of games that are coming out in the next 7 days.
Nice.
What have you been playing? What have you been reading? What have you been gaming on these days?
Well, Game Grumps has been doing a lot of like a few one-off games, particularly simulator games, the past few days, and that includes Euro Truck Simulator 2. Now, I haven't played Euro Truck Simulator since I started playing American Truck Simulator when it came out in 2016. And I haven't played American Truck Simulator since 2019 for various reasons. But to cut right to the chase, I got back into American Truck Simulator. I got the wheel hooked back up to my computer, using my Stream Deck now because I cannot pull out my keyboard tray when the wheel is attached. So I have my Stream Deck with some hotkeys for extra buttons that I don't have enough buttons on the wheel for.
Very nice.
It's welcome and thank you for the lurk. Love Alec. Yeah, it's I'm back into Truck Sim now, and a lot has changed since I last played. The number of brands of truck cabs has doubled from 3 to 6. There's more stuff for AI traffic. There's more cool jobs. There's 3 or 4 more state DLCs since then. So I am enjoying it so far, and I haven't even left the state of Colorado. So no, Washington.
How did you get? Was it American Truck Simulator, Euro Truck Simulator, where you had the error where you downloaded something custom and then it was causing the game to crash?
That's American Truck Simulator.
Have
That's
you
part of why.
that yet?
So what happened, for some background, is that one of the game updates broke a mod that I authored myself that put my own logo onto my truck trailers. In order for me to fix that, I would need to completely rebuild that mod, which isn't my first thing that I would want to do after a couple years away from the game. The first time I tried to get back into it was a year and a half ago, and it broke because of all this. Eventually, what I ended up doing is just starting a brand new profile, deleting the old profile, just committing. So I'm back at level 3 for experience right now, and already took out a large loan and got myself a Mac Anthem day cab, and I'm having plans.
Hell
and
yeah,
excited to continue to explore the U.S. Going at like Idaho is new. New Mexico was there. Montana's just about to come out. There's a few other states that are new. I don't know them off the top of my head because I haven't been to them yet. No, Montana is out, Wyoming is coming out soon, and Texas is also on the way. So there's a lot. They're working their way east slowly but surely. So, yep, I'm back into Truck Sim. I know Dan always likes watching the Truck Sim streams, so I'll make sure to, if I know that it's a day that you're working, I'll make sure that I do it so you can have it on in store.
Very nice.
That's what I've been playing. What about you?
I've been really enjoying Monster Hunter. I've been going at the point now where I can beat up most of the things that I face against, and I've really been enjoying going into lower level lobbies and just helping out the hunters that are getting started.
Uh huh.
It's been a lot of fun. Um, and to exactly contrast that, in Overwatch, I decided I was like, you know what? If I'm not going to be able to get people to play comp with me, I'm just going to solo queue it up and do these things. And I had somebody the other day spend the entirety of the match telling me that they didn't like the character that I picked. And so instead of doing anything about the game and helping out, they just spammed no and I need healing and no and I need healing and no and I need healing. And so of course we got pushed straight off the board and lost 0-2. And I spent the entire match firstly confused. I was like, I turned this off in the settings because I don't want to hear from these people. I
Yeah.
have enough stuff going on. Don't need it.
Yeah.
And it was just more confusing. And then I remembered I had left team chat on for when I'm playing with my gaming group,
Yep.
and I realized like, oh crap, that counts when I queue up with randos. I was like, all
Yeah.
right, well, it's all turned off. I don't want to see it. I don't want to
Yep.
hear from people. If someone has something productive to say, they can get in proximity and say, I need healing or help or I want to queue up or just
Yeah.
stand in a place and like bob up and down so that they know like I'm trying to gather folks here. Um, I've
Wait till
been
Discord integration makes its way onto Switch, and then don't need in-game chat anymore.
oh I don't use in-game chat at all. I use
I'm
Discord
just
on
saying,
my own.
so yeah. So instead of oh, I'll use a in-game whatever for when it was with friends. Nope, Discord. Nope, everyone else can get out of here.
Yeah, that's what we currently do now and have for quite a while.
Nice.
Is
Okay, cool.
just avoid that altogether and have them already muted because Lord knows people love free platforms to do this
Be
stuff.
douchebags on.
And then there's a person on TikTok that is very much a big fan of the author Brandon Sanderson. I don't know if you've read them at all or heard about them at all.
I used to work at a bookstore taking care of the sci-fi fantasy
Okay.
section. I have not read Brandon Sanderson, but I'm very familiar. Please continue.
Um,
I'm sorry, I totally derailed you. Brandon
um,
Sanderson.
no, yes.
TikTok.
So she recently attempted to apply for a job with Brandon Sanderson's publishing group
Nice.
and all these things. And so her TikTok is full of references to a book series I haven't read,
Mhm.
characters I haven't met,
Mhm.
and novelizations that don't necessarily all of them pique my interest, but it was cool. The thing that I kind of liked was I asked her just on the thread. She was like, "What does my TikTok mean to you?" Or what is this? So I commented. I was like, I really enjoy the references because fantasy is fantasy. Orc's
Mhm.
gonna orc, Gobbo's gonna gobbo. These things are gonna happen over there. Wizards are gonna be smarmy. Like it's all tropes that are in everywhere else.
Yeah.
And I talked about that, and then I asked like, where should I start? And they commented back, and then they messaged me privately to say like, here's 3 books I would recommend you start with. This and that and the other.
Nice.
And it was one of those nice things to like have reached out to content creators and received a response and then received more so of a response than
Yeah.
as necessary. It just
Because I feel like when you try to interact with content creators on any platform, and granted, I haven't done a whole lot of this on TikTok yet, but like on YouTube, a small creator you can expect a response, whereas a large one that's getting a lot of reach, whatever, you don't expect that they're going to get the chance to respond to everything. I think TikTok is a little different in that it encourages more, like it lives more on that direct response, which can be exhausting for a creator. So I don't know if it's the platform or if it's just the platform is so young that creators haven't wised up to how well do they take care of themselves mentally. But no matter what it is, I'm really glad that you got that kind of response.
It was really cool. Apologies that I keep checking my phone. Today's the MLB Trade Deadline, and I want to see if my San Francisco Giants do anything to help. We're 51 of 52. Something, please. Somewhat a pitcher, a belly itcher, something. But I keep checking to make sure that they're not just going to sell the farm, or at least if they do, there's also potential that one of the most revolutionary players in the last 100 years has been rumored. His name's Shohei Otani. For those of you who haven't watched any of the things that I've done for baseball or talking about that, he is the first player in 100 years to be a pitcher and then also a very effective hitter.
Okay.
Like starting pitcher hitter. The last person to be of that caliber, and argumentatively, you could say this person still wouldn't even be in the same league as Shohei as Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
And so there's a rumor that he might move somewhere. Actually, no, it's past 6 o'clock, so the trades are done now that I'm realizing it. So I can breathe a sigh of relief. But at the same point, the San Francisco Giants traded with the Mets. We traded one 30-something-year-old outfielder, and we got a bunch of position players and a couple pitchers. So CJ Playmaker and I were kind of exchanging smarmy like, they absolutely, these trade deadline calls, because it was today at 6 o'clock. After that, you're not allowed to, for the rest of the season, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
They absolutely pulled back the curtain and went back to the dude, where's my car era, where the Giants kept going, and then, well, we'll offer you this, and then we'll give you this person, and then, like, we're not giving you any more stuff. Stop it. Like, we gave them one player, they got 5, and I love professional sports for that reason, because there's so much equatable to tabletop games, it isn't even funny. Where, like, there's a whole, if you, by the way, the reference that we use for Bobby Kotick is from basically a film that acknowledges that there was a baseball team that took statistics and were like, we're just going to make a team based upon analytics. And we're going to replace players not based upon, oh, this guy's really good at something. Like, nope, they're average at best, but they'll averagely fit in with everybody else. Let's put him in. Wasn't very successful, but it showed that some math nerd geek was like, baseball, let's do it. And it amuses me greatly to see things like that.
Nice.
But outside of those things, it's been really fun. I've been doing a painting gig on the side, and myself and the gentleman doing the painting don't work the same hours. We don't see each other, but we've started now leaving notes for each other scrawled on the wall in paint on the first coat. Not second coat, first coat only. But like it'll be like an 80-foot message of like, good luck finishing this, or like my favorite one was there was a flight of stairs that led to this thing, and it was very clear.
It is a time of civil war.
Yep. It was very clear that the gentleman had a really rough go at painting the staircase, because there's a point where you could see awesome detail work, but then like there was a fucking footprint and then just a big old splat and then just like blobs down the stairs, and you could see where he just kind of like went F it, because it was just blob spots all the way to the door. And so I left him a note inside of some of the things. And this was something unprompted. Him and I have never worked together. Him and I don't, the division that we're working for, him and I don't work for regularly. It's been a hoot to do things like that. Also, I've started working around a former coworker here in the mall. Not at Insane Games, but it's been really funny to see this person and hang out with them and have good old references to Wilton Mall as we work somewhere else.
That was a
welcome back,
moist.
more like rigor mortis, and thank you so much for the subscription.
Our subscription is 25 months old. It is no longer a baby and doing so much. It can build towers 5 blocks high and is starting to exert its independence. We're talking about stomping, screaming, and defiance. That sounds like me when I'm playing games. I can do 5 blocks and there's a lot of stomping and screaming and defiance going on.
That sounds like me trying to stream Rocksmith. Just a whole lot of just anger.
So you had your tangent about baseball, so I
Yes.
get my tangent of the sports that I follow.
Please.
And that is diecast racing on 3D Botmaker, which King of the Mountain wrapped up.
Just a sec. I'm very glad we're finally going to get this story because Sunday, this is all the information I have on this, by the way. We have a Facebook chat where myself, Boater, and our producer, Steve, talk in it. And Sunday at 9:57 a.m., we should enter a car for King of the Mountain. What? Boater, streaming now, but yeah, I'll discuss it Tuesday. That'd be awesome. Me, what's that? Boater, 3 hours later. Diecast Custom Racing. No other context, no other fucking messages, nothing. Just King of the Mountain Custom Diecast Racing. What the fuck that is? But
People
please,
take diecast cars,
please,
Hot
for the love
Wheels
of God.
and such, and for this particular series, they're customized. So they've been drilled open. They've added ladder tungsten weight, custom paint jobs, whatever. And then
Pine
they're
Car
sent
Derby
in,
Racing, for those of you that did scouting.
and then they're sent in for this one channel in particular, and he races them in various formats.
That
And-
sounds awesome!
And people sent them in years ago at this point for season 3. And he got so many cars that he didn't accept cars for season 4 and was still going off of those cars. And he didn't accept cars for season 5 because he was still going off of those cars. Season 5 just ended, went through all of those. So Steve and I are like, maybe we can submit a car for the next series when that comes up. But like, I don't have a whole lot to say about King of the Mountain. It was exciting. There was some good racing. The champion has kept his crown. So
what does King of the Mountain look like? Because all I can picture is marbles with friends, where you know it's just a downward slanted track.
It is a downhill track that starts here, comes here, wraps around, and wraps back. Each race is about 20 seconds long, and there's usually 4 cars a race. And the track is about 2 cars wide, so there's chances for passing.
Yeah.
There's chances for fatal accidents. Race in peace, Mlb. And of course, with a lot of inside jokes that have built up since this channel started in 2017, 2018.
Fair.
And it's a lot of fun to watch. That is 3D Botmaker for that channel. The other sport and other sports finale that I watched is Yella's Marble Runs. Marbula 1 had its final race of the season over the weekend as well. And I, as an O-Rangers fan, was very happy with the results. They were second in the standings going into the final race, behind Crazy Cat's Eyes. Crazy Cat's Eyes started on pole or very close to it, but ended up having a terrible race. And the O-Rangers finished, I think, 3rd, but because of points, that was enough to get them to the lead in the championship. So it's a staple before my Saturday shift, either that or DRC. Yeah. So it's DRC being the rally diecast racing on 3D Botmaker. He has different series going on, but yeah, Marbula 1 was a lot of fun. And I don't know exactly when the next series is going to be on Yellow's Marble Run. It'll probably be another Marble League, but it'll be a little bit. So, race in peace, Mlb.
Cool. Taco Pill stating that they did submit a car, which is awesome. Hope
Oh,
you
is
get
that
to
what?
see-
Oh, okay, that's what that was for.
hope you
I
get to
don't know if
see-
that was submit a car or just being or just knowing what diecast racing was. So either way, let us know. And then yeah, so I generally on Sundays, and that's when both of these races came out. I don't generally catch up on YouTube until like dinner. We do wings for dinner. It's this big long thing because we do them in batches, and that's when we catch up on our weekends YouTube.
Nice.
So thank you for not spoiling the race for me. Cool.
You ever watch someone streaming or things like that, and you realize you jinx them by saying something at the start of the stream and then it prophesizes. Um, I'm thinking about that, thinking about like all the things that we do and all the interplay we interact with, but I felt really bad because I definitely put some bad juju on our friends at Geek for All yesterday.
Oh boy.
Where I forget what context it was, but it's literally like, oh, it was like if we could get this event or this to happen, like I would hand land it forever. Hand landing is when you have so much on the board already that you just wind up holding it to make people think that you had things. And for like the first couple games, all they got was land that was off color for what they needed to play, and I got yelled at. It was really good. But have you
Good
ever
job.
had that happen where like when you're watching a streamer or you're doing a thing and like it kind of unfolds as a like, oh shit.
Not that specifically, but like when watching YouTube, there's a lot of like, oh, I wonder if, oh, yep, I was right. I hate being right. Like, oh, I wonder if Aaron's gonna do this stupid thing on Game Grumps. I get no points for that. It's Aaron. We know what's gonna happen. I did was in reference to Pinewood Derby in Scouting. Nice. I love just anything with anything like that. Give me all of it. Let's get into some news items. Other than how our favorite inanimate object racing is going. A quick note for a Web3 roundup, formerly known as NFT roundup. Yes, please, with that one. Early builds of Dr. Disrespect's game, Dead Drop, are now circulating. They may have gone out to some like early influencers, whatever. The general reception to the game is negative. Like the idea is interesting. It's a battle royale that instead of being this large land that kind of shrinks, whatever, it's climbing a tower, trying to get to the top, kind of a King of the Hill kind of thing, I guess. Interesting, but like the little bit that's been seen, the little bit that's been shown is like a shooting range, and it looks like ass. Like it looks functional, it just doesn't look appealing at all. And of course, in order to get into this pre-beta or whatever it is, you need to purchase an NFT. The game, of course, is NFT based. In order to get into it, you need to purchase an NFT for your character or a weapon or something like that. And it's all based around this blockchain economy. So fine, I'm not gonna
So
gag.
dumb.
I'm not gonna gag. Oh right, it's Dr. Disrespect's game. I'm fine. I'm fine.
I'm really glad to hear that they took a very interesting idea and just NFT'd all over the back of its head. Like really, like I'm really glad that.
I'm not gonna go with the imagery that just popped into my head. I need Jesus. So yeah, that's what I've got for the Web3 roundup. His game is starting to make rounds and actually have something solid to show for it, which, to be fair, for a lot of blockchain-based games, that's more than some of them even get to. So that's something, but that something is not impressive.
I'm not gonna lie. There was a person I follow on Instagram. Is a cardigan wearing celebrity of some sort, and he recently did like this big dance, and it's blowing up everywhere. And I was like, oh, cool. And then I saw on their story, they were like, my NFTs have sold out, and I literally went like, how fucking dare you, and just unfollowed them. I was like, you are dead to me.
Dare you
Fancy
betray
blue
my
cardigan
trust?
man?
Like, why Scottish? How dare you betray my trust, man? Like, you're a random celebrity on the internet that did a cool dance. I had faith in you. I was rooting for you. We were all rooting for you.
You had the high ground, guy. You voiced someone on the peanut butter and jelly otter or something or other, but nope. Just immediately, I was like, oh, good. They're associating their small following and popularity with NFTs. Unfollow.
Where's my pen? There we go. So yeah, that's what I've got for that. What have you got?
Well, I've got some unfortunate news on some games that I was very excited about. Content creator Fat Shark Studios, who has recently been responsible for holding the Warhammer IP, had to unfortunately announce this last week that they are announcing a second delay to Warhammer 40k Darktide. This game was originally announced in 2020 for a 2021 release. Obviously, most companies get a big pass for that.
Yep,
Things happened. The
yep,
world
yep.
shut down. It was originally going to be coming out in September. It was going to be out for PC towards the end of the month, and then the Xbox Series X and S soon thereafter within the month. And they had to announce that they are delaying it till November 30th. But they did announce, in part of the delay, they want to ask for the gaming community's help in troubleshooting by opening people up to be able to get access to a beta, to be
Okay.
able to play, to be able to bug report, to be able to see these things and give them a boots on the ground perspective of what they are seeing and what could potentially be or be not.
Yeah, and as long as the players have the perspective, it's like, hey, this is why we're not releasing it yet because it's still in this whatever state.
Yes.
But you got to be careful of, because if your fan base is too entitled, they're just going to be like, oh, that looks bad. I don't want to play this game. Yeah, it's not fucking done yet. Like, occasionally early access has backfired on developers. Not too much, though.
Yes.
Fortunately, most people at this point know what early access and the like are, as long as they call it something like that and not some, like, platinum pre-program, whatever.
Yeah, no, they are definitely expressing it as this is for dedicated fans who want to support the game and see it grow.
Well, I'm a dedicated fan, and I think it looks like poopy.
And there's
Shut up,
nothing
Ted.
wrong with that. That opinion's valid. If you don't like something, don't like it.
Yes, but also, like, people that just can't... Never you know what I mean. Anyway.
So, Fat Shark, as much as it hurts me, it also makes me feel better because, boy howdy, am I not running out and buying an Xbox Series X anytime because of that.
Yeah, and, like, it's not delayed until next year or delayed until who knows when. It was pushed back 2 months. It's fine.
Just in time for the holiday shoppings.
True.
What have you found in your internet searchings, Boater?
So we've talked a little bit about how Square Enix is selling. I think has at this point already sold Eidos Montreal, Crystal Dynamics, a few other Western studios. And we talked about the culture and the way that they felt that, like, they weren't being supported by Square Enix. They were given unrealistic goals that they could never meet to meet expectations that were, like, a much higher standard than their own studios, like Tokyo Studios, were held to. Steven, I'm going to mispronounce his last name. I probably mispronounced his first name, actually. Stefan Daustos. I'm going to type the name into chat, actually, really quick. My phone does not want to... Oh my gosh. This guy. He was the manager at Eidos Montreal when it was founded. Oh my god.
While Boater's typing that, Steve, who's Landon Castle again?
I still misspelled that, but whatever. He led Eidos Montreal when it was founded, and he did a interview with, I think, IGN this past week, where he had nothing nice to say about Square Enix and their ownership of the studio. He called it a slow-motion train wreck. He said, quote, "I think when people are in a crisis situation, where there's a lot of situations, you do see their core behavior or values, and I didn't like what I saw. There was really a lack of leadership, courage, and communication. And when you don't have those basic things, no employee can do their job correctly, especially when you're heading a studio. I was losing hope that Square Enix Japan would bring great things to Eidos. I was losing confidence in my headquarters in London. In their annual fiscal reports, Japan always added one or two phrases saying, 'We were disappointed with certain games. They didn't reach expectations. And they did that strictly for certain games that were done outside of Japan.' So it's stuff that we knew already. The idea that, like, if it wasn't a Square Enix developed game, that no matter how well it did, it wouldn't meet expectations, and that's why we don't have a third Deus Ex game. That's why we haven't gotten a new Tomb Raider game in a while. These studios that make great games, honestly, like Eidos makes some really great stuff, but under Square Enix, they weren't really given the tools to succeed. So any success they had was in spite of that, and then Square Enix was still like, nah.
Jeez.
So it's cool to hear someone who used to be at the company during that time. He left in, I want to say 2013. But that's still when they were owned by all that. It was during the development of the first. It was after the first Deus Ex game had come out, during the development of the second, and so forth. It's someone speaking so candidly about that. He said that, like, oh well, now that Square Enix is looking to get bought by PlayStation, uh, that they're just treating these like it's a fire sale for these other studios and just kind of getting rid of them.
But what did he feel about NFT games and things like that Square Enix is going to absolutely be getting into bed with? And
I don't
forcing?
know if the interview mentioned any of that. Among other things, he left before NFTs existed, like, period. Not before they were a thing. I'm pretty sure they didn't exist at the time. Crypto existed, but I don't think NFTs did. I'd have to rewatch Line Goes Up again.
Speaking of developers flip-flopping and doing some things, Asmodee, the company that does a lot of ports of board games over to video game consoles and things like that,
Okay.
has pulled the board game port of the game Pandemic from the Nintendo Store, citing that it just no longer met the standards that they wanted for games that were out. Pandemic was a game that they had put out a couple of years ago in their infancy, and things of that nature. And the game's graphics and gameplay elements, as contrasting to the game board itself, I could see where they may not necessarily have been a fan of the product, not a fan of the idea of pulling it, but they at the same point had to announce that Settlers of Catan on the Nintendo Switch is also losing, or has lost, its online play capabilities, and that is not their doing. It is the fact that they had their lobbies going through a company called GameSparks, which was owned by Google and had been shut down.
Okay.
Which they then did announce that they were dropping Catan down from $40 to $15 because you lost half of the gameplay.
Yeah. See. Sorry, I'll let you complete, but I have ideas on these.
No, please, you're already mid-sentence.
Yeah, it's like, I understand, but at the same time, like, you can patch the game. It's an eShop thing. You can get a new service provider for multiplayer and patch that into the game. Like, you need to be online to play it anyway. You get that patch and off you go. This all feels like a developer that doesn't really care about their back stable of games. Like with Pandemic, like, why? An older game exists with graphics that aren't up to your current standard, but they were there. They're still out there, potentially making you money. Like, I understand if you make a new version of the game and you delist the old one. Not always a fan of that. Rockstar, GTA Definitive. It has its problems doing that kind of thing. But I would at least understand if they did that. But if they just delist it because they're like, yeah, it's not up to our standards anymore. That's not how it goes. And it's another thing that shows the perils of buying your games electronically rather than having access to physical copies. Because a physical copy can be passed around ad infinitum after it's been abandoned.
Yeah, it's one of those
Ad
things of
infinitum?
I am glad that the company did outline their reasons in so many words on Twitter and things like that, but it doesn't feel good when a game that you like or things like that gets totally just the rug pulled.
Yeah.
They didn't confirm or deny that they were working on an improved version of Pandemic, or that Catan
And it's not like they
would.
lost the license to sell it either. If they did, they would have said so.
Yes. They did, however, confirm that if you had previously purchased the game, they are leaving it available for re-download
Okay.
and response and things like that.
Yeah.
So the good news is, unlike my 3 different times I bought Scott Pilgrim versus the World, you'll be able to actually keep that game and get it back. It's also why I have Scott Pilgrim versus the World and PT on a backup hard drive in a safe under the ocean, buried under the... Oh god, I didn't pay for that storage unit. Well, they're gone. That's fine.
Dave, I haven't played PT.
What?
I haven't played PT. Do you actually have that playable somewhere?
Yes,
I
it
want to
was a
play it
lot
with
of
you.
fun. There's a Weekend Wednesday clip of myself and Joe playing that, and Joe scared the shit out of me during it. It's fun. It's not great because it's a playable trailer, but it's fun. Um,
Um, let's see. Talking about, actually, I have no way to segue into this. Hey, let's talk about VR chat. Um, VR chat over the weekend banned all mods for the game. Like the way that mods tied into the game, they just completely patched it out, along with introducing easy anti-cheat into the game. The community is understandably upset because, like, first off, modding for whatever, people like to add their own things, but mods added a lot of things that the base game doesn't have. Things like, oh yeah, I like to be able to have a clock in game so that I know when I've been playing for too long. There's no in-game clock in the game. Moreover, there's a lot of accessibility features. A lot of accessibility features for vision impaired and so forth. Um, in any attempt to discuss that the fact that a lot of the base is getting alienated, anything saying, not even saying the developers are ableist, but just saying that this course of action is ableist, has been getting people banned off of the VR chat Discord. Um, the company, the developers behind VR Chat have said, "Oh, we're listening to the community, and we're definitely going to take this all and modify our internal roadmap so that we can meet these needs. But we're still going ahead with doing this right now anyway. So too bad, you're out of luck." Like, there's no immediate time when, like, hey, you people that paid for the game and could only play it with mods, because of, again, visual impairment, audio impairment, whatever. Um, I will explain what VR chat is in just a moment. Thank you, more like rigor mortis. Um, People that need to do this with mods have paid for the game and now can't play it. So a lot of people are upset. VR chat, I haven't gotten into it too much, but it is a a social virtual reality platform, I guess I'll say.
mhm.
You can hang out in a bunch of different environments. I watched a bunch of YouTubers kind of exploring it with each other. It was got really big during the pandemic in 2020. Did I need to specify the year? Whatever.
It's also been really big in communities who don't normally are not able to normally gather.
hmm
Folks who live in remote places or have social anxieties or things like that. It's been a pretty good resource. There's also just a billion smut things in it.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. There's a lot of
Like
communities of various persuasions, I suppose we'll say. Um, but yeah, it is a program. It is a social network kind of thing, I guess, of people being able to hang out. And when I was watching some of the YouTubers playing it, one of the environments was an aircraft carrier, so able to get in airplanes and go up and dogfight and intercept whatever. And oops, I crashed into the water and spawned back on the carrier. So it is a game as well. There are a lot of gameplay elements to it, although the main function is just being able to hang out with other people in virtual reality that you cannot do so in person for whatever reason. And again, for some people, those reasons are that they can't leave the house because they are disabled for one extent or another. Um, and maybe they use mods to bring in more accessible controllers other than just this or the Oculus controllers. Maybe they have there are a lot of controllers that are more accessible, and maybe they use mods to make those work in the game, and now they can't do that anymore. Um, so it sucks that how much modding means to the community for accessibility, as well as plenty other reasons, that the developers behind VR Chat feel that no, it's just got to throw out the baby with the bathwater as they bring in easy anti-cheat, which is also very problematic as anti-cheat programs go, as far as like data gathering and stuff. So that's a cool little level of that as well.
uh, or later this past week they did like start to try to put out roadmaps for we're going to add these things, we're going to re-add this stuff,
hmm
and things of this nature. And they did reach out to some of the community content creators. Sustaina was very nice enough to blow me up with all the information on this topic,
okay.
and I was really excited about it.
I had only read
Um,
a couple of articles, so please, anything
and
extra that you have to
no,
add.
just that they really went scorched earth on VR chat, and to unroot some of the more problematic things that were in there that nobody really wanted to acknowledge or talk about. This unfortunately seemingly was more necessary, but in order to get rid of the bad, they killed all of the good graces and things that people had done, and made a game that was, for some people, their only social outlet, or many cases like that. And the vocal users of the game on a constant basis, the people that this is their unwind time, this is their thing that they do, and they made it easier by adding clocks, by doing these things, to just suddenly get told, nope. Oh, and if you try to talk to us about it, we're going to ban you too.
Yeah, I kind of glossed over that, but that is really like
Yeah.
frustrating that in Discord and other various communities, anyone talking negative about this decision, the moderator team is not facilitating communication.
Yeah.
They are shutting it down.
Yeah, it wasn't even people that were necessarily coming after them with terminology, spark words that would
Yeah,
catch
it's not saying
moderators' attention.
it's not saying everyone here is ableist. They're saying this is how this affects me as someone who is disabled, and it comes across this way. Can we work on this? And they're
Banned.
still getting banned.
And or people that had a lot of resources put into mods that they had made and things like that to say, hey, can I work? And Dan, like, nope, you're not a part of the next step. Really unfortunate. I'm really hoping VR chat can recover their fan base, considering that the day that they announced these things, one or two other VR-based games crashed because people were mass exodusing VR chat the game to then try out these new gigs,
things, yeah.
and the new ones just weren't as
They didn't have
popular.
the support, yeah. They weren't ready for that kind of traffic. VR chat currently features a recent rating of overwhelmingly negative on Steam. We're talking like 20,000 reviews that are considered recent.
It's not easy to get that. I know we talk a lot about like Steam reviews or things like that. A game as beloved and rooted in gaming culture as VR chat and things like that over the years, especially as VR has become less of a niche and more of a commonly
matured. It's
accessible
getting
thing
out there,
for
yeah.
people. As these headsets are no longer requiring you to have a high-end gaming computer to use. Man, that sucks. And here's hoping that the people that are affected by it, that do want to continue to use it, are able to find a middle ground, pie in the sky, that the company kind of realizes what they're doing is not necessarily very cool, bro, and you shouldn't be behaving that way.
Yeah.
But
hopefully they bring in a new mod manager that at least works with easy anti-cheat, because they're clearly not going to get rid of that.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Speaking of asking for things on the internet and your voice is being heard, Turtle Rock Games, who were famous for games like working on the original Left 4 Dead, they then left.
Oh, Turtle Rock. Okay. Yep.
They then left Valve and were working on their own, and they created a game called Evolve.
Yep.
Back in the early days of online and live services, they were one of the games and the poster children for DLC. It was wild. It was awful. I didn't buy it, but damn did I love Evolve. Well, Turtle Rock got in a lot of trouble. Turtle Rock couldn't keep the game going, so they sold it to 2K Games fully, who had published the game for them.
Okay.
And 2K this past week looked back in their calendar on 2018 and went, "Oh, look at that! We had closed online services multiplayer for Evolve Stage 2, which was the free-to-play version of the game." And they went, "Oh, let's just turn it on, see if anyone notices." Peer-to-peer online multiplayer in this game, which the gameplay is one player plays as this big monster, and 4 people play as these hunters. And the get of the game, quickly, Evolve, was At first, you're trying to kill the creature because you want to kill the beast. As the longer the beast lives, the more it evolves, and once it evolves to a certain degree, it becomes a game of run away because the creature becomes too big for the 4 players to be able to handle on their own. It was fun to play, and I was really sad that the game didn't catch on, but it did get what it kind of deserved with all the DLC going on. So I was stoked to see this. I did have an unfortunate revelation when I went to try to download it back on my PlayStation and realized that it was the PC players only. So I'm gonna try to download it.
Headshot.
And
Headshot. Headshot.
yeah, my PC may not be able to handle that game, but I'm gonna try to download it anyway. Their re-engagement after enabling it is up and back to doubling the numbers that they had before the game was shut down totally.
Nice.
2K.
We got to see if that sticks around. I mean, that's the kind of thing that can easily be a surge for.
Oh,
a few
absolutely.
Weeks.
But a surge on something, them literally turning the lights back on in a room, and everyone going, "Ooh, what's in here?"
Yeah.
Is a good sign. It could maybe help some other game industries to maybe give us back Chrome Hounds, please. I want to play Chrome Hounds again. That's all I want.
So Dave, as I'm doing this, if I'm not making eye contact with you or the camera, I tend to zone out on different things. And I realized about halfway through the program that one of the things I was zoning out on was 3 cans of some sort of Coca Cola.
Yes.
What am I looking at?
We've been having a lot of fun doing taste tests here on the program, and so if I run into things,
No.
I've been making sure to get them. Steve also, and you as well with the different things you brought in. This one not so much bad, but just weird because I looked at these cans of Coca-Cola, and I realized on the cover of it was the rappist Marshmello.
All right. Okay.
He was featured in the Fortnite kids. You may recognize him from that. And I realized that they created a Coca-Cola flavor in collaboration with Marshmello, but not Marshmello flavored Coca-Cola.
That's a shame.
Instead, it's watermelon strawberry flavored Coke and other natural flavors.
So Coke is sweet, not as sweet as Pepsi, but Coke is sweet. And watermelon and strawberry are both flavors that I associate with being very sweet as well.
Mhm.
I got a stream tonight. Let's see how we do.
I'm confused about this. I will also state that I was very much a Coke, not Pepsi guy, and it does dawn on me that the long-standing things of tangentially. COVID. It's not a bad word. Just say it. I don't know why, like, all these production companies everyone's out with fever. It's like, your company got COVID. Fucking grow up.
I don't know where that came from.
It's because I realized one of the long-standing things from having COVID is Coke just doesn't taste that good anymore.
Okay.
Since having it, and it dawned on me. I was literally like, wow, I tried canned Coke. I had like this, and even like getting it from McDonald's, the freshest of I was like, wow, this is not as good as I remember it being pre having COVID. It's like, shit.
I mentioned before, Game Grumps used the euphemism Backstreet Boys reunion tour for COVID, whatever, at the start when it was like, oh, well, that might get us banned, whatever, if we actually say COVID or coronavirus. And it wasn't the case, but they kept doing it as an inside joke. And it really threw me off when Backstreet Boys were at SPAC the other weekend and all my friends were going. And I was like, no, don't! Wait, no, it's okay. That's actual, literal.
My wife was at that show. She apparently said it's, quote, the best concert she's ever been to. So
nice.
Backstreet's back, baby. Actually, Backstreet never went anywhere, but
all right.
Here's to the Marshmello collaboration.
The smell is stronger than the taste. Like, it definitely tastes definitely watermelony. You could convince me there's strawberry in there as well. It is primarily watermelon flavor and scent, and like not like actual watermelon, but like candy watermelon. In the same way that that banana flavoring isn't the same as banana.
I mean,
It tastes like perfume. That's some pretty good perfume you're drinking.
I'm
I
I'm not
wouldn't. That's expensive, but still.
I'm not gonna buy this in the future. I'm not gonna go out of my way to have it.
I don't
but
regret drinking it.
I
Which is
wouldn't
more
kick
than
it
I
out of
can
bed
say
for
for a
eating
lot of stuff.
crackers. But
More than
yeah.
I can say for a lot of things we've tried on this program, I do not regret drinking this, and I
I'm-
will continue to do so.
I am curious about this one logo on the can on the marshmallow person. Was this little here
No, Coke Creations.
Coca-Cola Creations?
Tap the screen in the center.
Oh hell yeah! And I'm curious, and I'm kind of hoping what that will mean is that there will be more collaborations with artists and things like that.
Yeah.
Perhaps a Peter Molyneux Coke, where we're told it's going to be this and that and this, and it's actually just a can of saline at that point. Perhaps what other big game? Oh, we could get Kojima Coke. And the internet would just be aghast with rumors about what it is.
We could go with Duke Kokum Forever. You just open it and just gas comes out because it's vaporware.
That's true. That thing would also take 11 years to come out. And it would kill two
I was
companies.
just proud of Duke Kokum Forever.
We could
Coke Jima.
Coke Jima. Sold. I did find a couple more interesting things, and I always try to. A lot of the stories that I find are, oh, this is getting delayed. Oh, that's bad. This is bad.
Yeah.
Da, da, da. And for those of you that know, I'm a very big fan of music, and I saw something that kind of lifted my spirits and heart.
Before you get to that, I also had more topics, but if you are interested in seeing the topics that didn't make it to today's show, make sure that you follow in the Discord below, join that server, and on the Tabled Topics channel in Discord, you can see the topics that we weren't able to cover during the show today because we had so many great ones. Dave, take us home.
A concert venue lineup of 3 Days Grace, 0936, and Wage War were going to be playing a concert in Green Bay, Wisconsin, but was canceled due to weather and the venue not allowing them to perform because of storms and things like that. Sad. People drove for many miles to see these bands and artists. Well, unbeknownst to the fans and unbeknownst to the rest of the artists, the band Wage War decided when they found out that the show was canceled that they literally just went out into the parking lot and played an acoustic set of their set they were going to play that evening.
All right.
For their fans. And it's stuff like that that just makes me feel good. When you're a fan of a band, I haven't listened to 3 Days Grace since SmackDown vs. Raw 2008 when it was on the soundtrack there. I've never heard of the other two bands, but just good on you, performing artists, for going that incredibly extra mile in getting an acoustic set together, considering they are not normally an acoustic band. And damn, does that feel good.
Awesome. That is going to do it for Nerd Glasses today. A lot more stuff that we couldn't cover. So again, make sure that you're following in Discord below, and make sure that you stick around after the show because we go offline for about 5 minutes as we move the set that way. And then after that, we have a 10-minute countdown. And then I will be on the Citadel playing more Split Second, a combat racer from 2010 that's really unique in how it does things. I've been enjoying playing back through the game,
Very
and
nice.
I hope that you'll join me. I mean, that actually technically works. I hope that you'll join me as we play. But if you don't, still appreciate that you were here, and we hope to see you next week. I've been Boater.
I've been Dave Man.
And we'll see you next week. And we'll see you next week, 7:45 p.m. at the Nerd Glasses Podcast right here at Insane Games TV. Good night, everybody.